Debonair. Okay.
What's good, y'all? Shout out to Notification Gang for hitting the like button. And if you didn't even start yet, y'all the village ones in it. I appreciate you anyway. Please, man, we want to have a moment of silence, man. We want to have a moment of silence for I'm pretty sure I'm about to butcher this guy's name, man. I'm so sorry ahead of time. Yahkeim Lollar. This young lady unalived him because apparently he didn't want to be with her no more. So she took it upon herself to unalive him. This happened in my backyard, man. This happened out of Dade County, Florida. My backyard. Yeah, man. These types of things happen all the time. And this is the reason why I go in. Well, let's have a moment of silence before I get into all that. Moment of silence, please. When it comes to these types of topics, y'all, there's always this one-sided thing when we have a black man unaliving a black woman, but when we have a black woman unaliving a black man or a young man, because I think he was 17 or 16 at the time, a young man, they almost never want to speak on it, or it gets pushed under the rug. They try to make it seem as if, oh, it wasn't that bad, whatever, move on. No. This is the reason why I sit there and I look at the swirler community, I look at the divestors like they're stupid, because these types of things happen on both sides. On both sides. But let divestors tell it, it's only the black men unaliving black women. Let the swirler community tell it, it's black men only unaliving black women. Let's get into this, y'all, so we can hear this.
This is another breaking story we're following for you. A teenage girl stabbed her boyfriend to death amid an argument, and today, nearly 2 years later, she's pleaded guilty. The deadly stabbing happened in Northwest Miami-Dade, December of 2024.
Christian Colon is with us now with that major update from the courtroom. And Christian, will this teenager get any prison time for killing her boyfriend?
Yeah, that's right. Jahara Malik pleaded guilty today, and now she will let the judge decide her sentencing. When it comes to prison time, she is facing up to 30 years behind bars. Take a look. This is Jahara Malik. She was 17 at the time that she stabbed her boyfriend. She's charged with manslaughter for killing her boyfriend, 17-year-old Yahkeim Lollar. Lollar's family has been very vocal since the beginning, holding protests outside the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office, demanding accountability. Their calls for justice eventually led prosecutors to actually file charges against Malik more than a month after the killing. Today, nearly 2 years later, the case will not go to trial. There was no plea offer. Instead, Malik pleaded guilty and will allow a judge to decide her punishment. The victim's family says they want the max here, which is, like I mentioned, 30 years in prison. Let's listen to what they told us.
I want the max.
Real quick before we get, this is his mother. Real quick before we get into what the family has to say.
He said,
again, y'all, I live in South Florida. Miami-Dade is right in my backyard. These types of charges carry heavy, assuming, again, the judge sentences her correctly. I would say that she should get the full 30 years since she pleaded guilty. If she would have took it to trial, or if she would have pled innocent, or whatever the case may be, they probably would have gave her the death penalty, a death sentence, right? But since she pleaded guilty, since she said, hey, listen, I am guilty, I did this, I did that, whatever, they probably will give her anywhere upwards of 20 years. I would hope for 30, but we all know that typically women do not do the same amount of time compared to a man when it comes to the same type of crimes. With that being said, she's only 17 or 18 years old, y'all. Again, let's just say she gets 30. Let's just say she gets 30. In the state of Florida, you have to do 80%. You have to do 80%, which is about out of 30. 80% of 30 is what, y'all? What is that, like 24 years, 25 years? 25, let's just say 25. She's 18 now. By the time she hits 18 now, by the time she hits 40, 45, she'll be out. I mean, she ain't gonna be no young spring chicken, but she's still gonna have her whole life ahead of her. She's still going to have her whole life ahead of her. At 40 years old, 40 to 45 years old, she'd be able to get out with good behavior and all this other dumbass nonsense. Y'all know how they do. Such a shame. Especially when the reason behind it is because, oh, he didn't want to be with me no more, so I decided to kill. What? We're going to get into the article after the fact, but let's keep listening. Let me hear what the mom has to say, because I have to hear this.
As they want the max here, which is, like I mentioned, 30 years in prison. Let's listen to what they told us.
I want the max. You know, that's what I want. A life for a life. You know what I'm saying? She took my son's life for no reason. She took my son's life because he was honest with her, that he didn't want to be with her, and she not realizing her actions, her behavior, and her entitlement is the reason why he didn't want to be with her.
Manslaughter is negligent conduct that was brought on, even though it was not intended to result. It says a whole lot, as far as I'm concerned, her recognizing and accepting responsibility.
I want to say that it recognizes her taking responsibility, sir. I think that they dropped the charge because this is something that's been going on for 2 years, and so they just want to move on from these types of things. And it's so unfortunate. It's so sad when we're having these types of conversations, when we're talking about these types of charges as far as murder. She murdered him. They downgraded it from first degree, probably to third degree, and then manslaughter. It wasn't manslaughter. Manslaughter, y'all. Manslaughter is, what's a good example? Manslaughter is, I'm trying to think of an example. I'm doing something stupid, right? Let's just say I'm on top of a building. I'm throwing objects off the top of the building, as a prank or whatever the case may be. One of the objects I throw off the building lands on someone's heads and kills them. That's manslaughter. It wasn't intended for me to throw, again, an object and kill someone. I'm doing it because, again, it's something stupid to do, and I wanted to record it or whatever. Y'all know how people do. And unfortunately, it took someone's life. That is manslaughter. I did not intentionally mean to kill this person, but I killed them. That's completely separate from what this lady did. She took a knife and stabbed him. It may not be premeditated murder, but it for damn sure is murder. But again, what tends to happen, y'all, they're going to sit there and try to downgrade the seriousness of the charge. Why? Because they just want to move forward. It's going on 2 years. They're tired of hearing and talking about the same damn thing. We got you, ma'am. You're not going anywhere. Where can we go from here? Because you're not getting out any less than 10, 15, 20 years. So what are you going to do? What are you going to plead? And that's the reason why I believe they downgraded it to manslaughter, because they have some sort of agreement. Hey, listen, if we charge you with manslaughter, will you plead guilty? Yes. Okay, cool. Let's move on to sentencing. Let's start beginning to this, y'all. Again, we're going to get into the article also as well.
Again, back here live in May, there was a hearing scheduled for May 5th. There will be a sentencing hearing. State attorneys will likely ask for prison time. Meanwhile, defense attorneys, who of course represents Malik, they will ask for mercy, because since the beginning they have always claimed that this was an accident. Again, this sentencing hearing is set for May 5th. I'll send it back to you guys. We're now live in Miami. Christian Colon, NBC.
So in about 2 months, I'm going to come back to you guys with an update. I'm going to come back to you guys with an update. Teen pleads guilty to manslaughter after stabbing boyfriend during argument in Miami. A teen who fatally stabbed her boyfriend during an argument in Miami in 2024 pleaded guilty during her court appearance on Monday. Jahara Malik, 18 years old, was charged with manslaughter for stabbing and killing her boyfriend, 17-year-old Yahkeim Lollar, after the two got to an argument near Northwest 6th Court and 61st Street on December 20th, 2024. She was 17 at the time of the stabbing and was charged as an adult. That's good. Lollar family has been vocal since the beginning and held protests outside the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office demanding accountability. Their calls for injustice eventually led prosecutors to file charges after Malik more than a month after the killing. Nearly 2 years later, the case will not go to trial. There was no plea deal. Instead, Malik pleaded guilty and will allow a judge to decide her punishment. The victim family say they want the maximum sentence, which is 30 years in prison. Again, I'll be shocked as hell if the judge gives her 30. I'll be shocked as hell. If I was a betting person, I would bet my money on the judge putting it anywhere from 15 to 25. I would say 17 to 25 years. I don't think she's going to do 30, y'all. I hope I'm wrong because I will hope she gets 30 because this is crazy. Quote, I want the max, said Natalie Jean, Lollar's mother. That is what I want, a life for a life. She took my son's life for no reason. She took my son's life because he was honest with her that he didn't want to be with her. And she not realizing her actions, her behavior, and her entitlement is the reason why he didn't want to be with her. Y'all remember what I always say about women and their entitlement, right? Y'all know what I say? I always talk about their entitlement, their delusion. I've always spoken on these types of topics, on these types of terminologies, I should say, when it comes to women, dating women. Let's keep going. Manslaughter is negligent conduct, said Larry Hanfield, a defense attorney that was brought on. Even though it was not intended, the result says a whole lot as far as I am concerned for recognizing and accepting responsibility. In February 2025, Malik appeared in court where her attorneys were hoping the teen would be allowed to move to Port St. Lucie and await trial. Her whole defense is horseplaying. Who horseplays with a knife? You are learned as a kid that you don't play with sharp objects, right? Natalie Jean Lola's mother told NBC. Yeah, she said that they was horseplaying with a knife. Oh, we were playing around with knives, and I accidentally stabbed him to death. He bled out because we were horseplaying with knives. This is a grown, not a grown, because again, she was 17 at the time. This is a grown ass woman, a legally grown. I can't even say legally, and almost. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. This girl is big. This is a big ass girl. Let me just say that. A big ass young lady. 17 years old. You're too goddamn old to be talking about we was horse playing and playing around with a knife. We know that that's not what happened, but whatever. Let's keep going. The young woman was granted house arrest during her bond court appearance last week. Something Lollar family was strongly against. That's a fact. Why is she able to get house arrest? Crazy. Y'all see how they do women compared to how they would do a man? If I would have did something like this, y'all think I would have got house arrest? Hell no. The victim family demanded Judge Christine Hernandez revoke Malik's house arrest and send her back to jail. They considered Malik dangerous and immature and mentioned a video of her allegedly fighting in school, which they said led to a suspension. However, state attorney who represent the family admitted they couldn't request for her to be detained because manslaughter is a charge where a defendant could be released and Malik had no prior criminal history. Assistant State Attorney Kevin Betancourt told the judge over the family's objection that he felt the appropriate bond was house arrest, but he did request more limitations. On the other hand, Malik's attorney argued for the teen to be granted permission to live in Port St. Lucie and await trial. They wanted Malik to attend school there instead of Miami-Dade. She was still able to attend school. This is crazy. Oh, you have to understand that this is an accidental situation. This was not intended, and this young girl has no prior history in the juvenile system, said Larry Hanfield, an attorney representing Malik. At the end of the hearing, Judge Hernandez sided with the state attorney, elevated the level of house arrest to full lockdown. Good. Before Thursday, Malik was allowed to go outside with a GPS monitor. Now, with the elevated level of house arrest, Malik is only allowed to go to school and see her attorney. Right now, we feel like there was no justice served. She's still able to go out, even though if they got her in lockdown, what is the difference between her being in jail and at home? She still can't go nowhere. So why didn't she stay in jail? That's a fact. That's a great point. That's a great point. Malik's sentencing is set for May 5th. She is facing up to 30 years in prison. Y'all, listen. I mean, I don't know how else like I can spell it out for people when it comes to a man and a woman being charged for the exact same crime. I say this all the time, y'all. If I was robbing a bank with a woman, I was robbing a bank with a woman, and we both get caught. We both get caught robbing a bank, right? Depending on the details, you're probably going to be doing anywhere from 10 to 15 years for robbing a bank. Do y'all think if both of us got caught, me and the woman that I robbed the bank with, do y'all think we're both going to be doing the same amount of time? Hell no. They're going to probably give me 10 and give her 3. And don't let her get to talking about, oh, well, he forced me to do it. He made me do it. I didn't want to do it. Double standards. Double standards. I want you to comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this video, man. Thanks for watching. And until next time, please, man, y'all be safe for her, cuz.